Now, should I invest or should I hide a bunch of money under my mattress? So, coming from an immigrant background, I was never taught to invest. I was always told by my parents, who had the average job, to save, 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 save if you want to get rich. They never taught me how to invest. What I didn't even know what was investing until like a few years ago, believe it or not.
What?
Growing up, we were poor, so I never knew why we were poor if they said to save money. But times are totally different now. We have inflation, according to the Fed. Inflation right now is 8.5%. So saving right now, it's kind of worthless, in my opinion. First, we got to talk about debt. If you had debt from credit cards, student loans, your car is not too bad because the finance on that, the interest rate is usually not high depending on your credit. But if you have high interest debt such as credit cards and student loans, well, you want to look at that first. Before you start even saving or investing, you want to get rid of your high interest debt because that could hold you back substantially and it could rob you from your wealth since high interest debt is around 20%. Okay, great. We're tackling the debt. You don't have to substantially pay it all off at once, but as long as you're tackling the debt, you could also save and invest at the same time. So don't get it like, oh, I got debt. I can't even worry about this right now. Yeah, you can, but just pay a good chunk of that as well while you're investing and saving. Okay, cool. So we got rid of that. So now we're going to do emergency fund. Emergency fund is a good thing to have just in case if anything unexpectedly happens, such as you lose your job, you get in a car wreck, you have a medical bill that comes up out of nowhere. Yes, that's a rare occurrence, but still, it's good to have that cushion money just in case any of that happens. Okay, so how much should I save? Well, it depends on expenses. So if you have rent, for instance, say like $500 a month to $1,000 a month, let's just go with 1,000. If you want to save for 3 months, then you need $3,000. But you also need groceries, you also need gas, and anything you need to spend money on. So definitely have that saved up before you start investing or saving. It's definitely important to have liquid cash, which is basically cash you could pull out at any time without being taxed or anything on it to have for emergency. Okay, now we're going to investing. Okay, so investing always starts with what are our goals first. So we want to look at our goals. Do we have short-term goals or do we have long-term goals? So let's get into the short-term goals first. Short-term goals, you kind of want to save money, such as if you're trying to buy a car, if you're trying to purchase a home within the next year, if you're trying to finance a wedding or an extravagant event, you definitely want to save money instead of investing. Because if saving money, you're going to have that liquid cash right at your disposal at any time that you need it. Investing, in my opinion, is better for long term, but we'll get into that. So definitely, it depends on your goals and what do you want to do. So if you want to save up for a house within the next year, you're trying to buy a house, then you could open a high yield savings account, which is national average is 0.60%, which is not very high at all. Definitely compared to inflation being at 8.5%. But if you're trying to spend that money within the next year, then I don't see that as a bad choice. But definitely open a high yield savings account that gives you a little bit money back because the national average bank account, such as Chase, does not give you any money back at all. I think it's 0.01, which is nothing. So definitely open a high yield savings account, put your money in there, try to get a little bit of interest, and then when you need that money, it's available to you. Okay, long term goals. Now this is where we're going to get into investments. Long-term goals, if you want to invest financial wealth long-term and pass it on to your kids, then yes, investments are a great choice. So what kind of investments should I do? There's a lot of type of investments. Let's go with your employer first. So an employer usually offers you a 401k. So for instance, my employer offers me a 3% match to my 401k. So if I want to put 3%, they will match me that 3%. So total, I get 6% into my 401k. So that's basically free money. So you definitely need to hop on that. If your company offers you 401k match, then match what they match. So if they match 5%, match 5%. In my opinion, going past 5% and they're not matching higher than that is a total waste of money because you're basically throwing them money that they want to invest in whatever they want to invest. You can't really do it on your own, so you don't know what you're really getting into. But if they're giving you your match of 3% or 5%, then that's still definitely a good choice to put that in, because that is free money that they're giving you. This is good than a 401k. It's called, what I do is a Roth IRA. A Roth IRA is basically pre-tax money that you put in. Yes, your job does offer you this, but my opinion, I go the route where I could do it myself. So the Roth IRAs are awesome because they're pre-tax. So any income that you put in there are already taxed. They're not going to tax you on it. So definitely check into a Roth IRA. I have one personally, and I self-direct it because I like to choose where my money goes into and not my company. I have an account with M1 Finance. I'll put the link below if you want to check that out. It's my referral link. I'll help you out, and I could do a video about that later on too, explaining how a Roth IRA works. But basically, money into it, it's pre-tax. You get to choose which stocks the money to go to. My primary is Tesla. You do your own research on what you want to put money into, but this is an awesome choice if you don't want to do the 401k. But if you want to do a 401k in this Roth IRA, it's substantially great. So if you do want to go the safer route and you don't want to do single stocks such as Tesla, Apple, and all that, there are index funds that are called S&P 500, for instance, is one, and it's very popular. So these index funds distribute your money into different companies. So S&P 500 holds these companies in it: Tesla, Apple, Microsoft, Google. You could invest in these index funds, and they have been proven to your money a more leverage towards inflation. More conservative. They're not as risky as digital stock. The newest trend that people have invested, as well as myself, is Bitcoin or crypto. Yeah, so you heard a lot of crazy stories about these investments. Yeah, they're very volatile. Volatile basically means they go up and down a lot. Do your own research on what you want to invest in. I'm invested in Bitcoin as well as some minor crypto. But Bitcoin is my primarily investment that I'm in this crypto investments. Do your own research. I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your money, but this is another investment that you could look into. It's been around for a while, but now it's getting really popularity. For me, I see it as a future, so I feel safer being a little bit invested in it than not being invested in it, right? Because who knew Amazon was going to be what it is now? It started as a bookstore, so definitely do your own research, look into it. Okay, so last investment. What can you do? Invest in this very popular investment. It's called real estate. Yes, the big investment, real estate. So yes, you definitely want to save some money first before you invest into this, because houses are expensive. Yeah, you could go through loans and stuff, but it's better if you have some savings before you tackle this investment, in my opinion. So if you want to invest in this, you're not going to get your dream home the first house that you buy. You obviously want to go with a good deal with, obviously under cost within it for a year or two, and then basically, go on to your second house. Rinse and repeat. This is a great strategy to invest in real estate. I mean, obviously do your own research, but this is a good investment to fight inflation and to get financial wealth in the long run. So when I hold my money in cash, isn't that like a less complicated choice and not have to deal with all these different accounts? Yes and no. Yes, it's easier and less complicated than having accounts, but if you hide that money under a mattress and you think it's safe, ironically it's not, because the government printed the last dollars in economy. 40% of it has been printed. That's absurd in my opinion. So even though you think you're safer with cash, your money is getting robbed silently through this thing called inflation. Inflation right now is 8.5%. It's the highest it's been in 40 years. I mean, if that doesn't scare you, I don't know what will. These are the investments that you can do with your money. You could either save depending on your goals, but in my opinion, if you want to attain financial wealth in the long term, look at investments. They are definitely key in your financial goals. If you don't want to do that and you want to just buy something short term, obviously, which route to take. But definitely, in my opinion, investments are awesome. In the long run, they pay off. And yes, right now they're very volatile, but definitely do your own research of what you want to put your money in. And definitely, it's a great idea. If you like some free stocks and you want to sign up for your Roth IRA, links down below. Check them out. If you appreciate the information and like the video, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.